My client's husband is a hero, Rachel's lawyer says, and the courtroom holds its breath. I grip the table edge until my knuckles bleach white. Across the aisle, Rachel won't look at me. She's staring at her manicured hands like they're somebody else's, folded too perfectly in her lap. 3 years of marriage reduced to this: mahogany benches, fluorescent lights, and a judge who's already decided I'm the villain. Your Honor, her attorney continues, Mr. Hayes once pulled my client from a burning vehicle. He shattered both legs in the process, spent 8 months in physical therapy, lost his athletic scholarship, his entire future. I saved her life and she's using it against me. The gallery murmurs. I catch my mother's face in the third row, proud and broken simultaneously. She thinks this proves something. That sacrifice equals character. That pain makes you worthy. The judge leans forward. Is this relevant to the custody matter, Ms. Chen? Profoundly, Your Honor. It establishes a pattern. Rachel finally looks at me. God, those eyes, still the color of sea glass, still capable of drowning me. There's something in her expression I can't name. Regret, warning, or the same cold calculation that's defined these last 6 months. Mr. Hayes is obsessive, Ms. Chen says. He fixates. He sacrifices without being asked, then uses those sacrifices as leverage. He saved my client's life, yes, but he's been holding it over her ever since. That's a lie. The words escape before I can stop them. The judge's gavel cracks like a gunshot. Mr. Hayes, you'll have your turn. But I won't. My lawyer, court-appointed, overworked, barely present, has already told me we're outmatched. Rachel's family has money. Real money. The kind that buys narrative control. I was 21 when I pulled her from that wreck. Junior year, championship-bound, the world spread before me like a promise. I heard the metal shrieking, saw the flames licking the undercarriage. She was unconscious, seatbelt jammed, and I didn't think. I just moved. The impact shattered my tibias when the gas tank exploded. I remember the heat, the sound of my own screaming, Rachel's weight in my arms as we hit the asphalt. Then nothing. I woke up to her crying at my bedside, holding my hand like it was sacred. I'll never leave you, she whispered. I promise. 4 years later, she's claiming I'm psychologically unfit to parent our son. My client lived in fear, Ms. Chen continues. Fear of disappointing the man who gave up everything for her. Fear of being reminded constantly of the debt she could never repay. This dynamic created a toxic environment for their child. I taste copper. I've bitten my cheek. Our son, Miles, 4 years old, obsessed with dinosaurs, laughs like hiccups, is with Rachel's mother. He asked me yesterday why Mommy won't let him come home. I had no answer that wouldn't damn one of us. Mr. Hayes became controlling, Ms. Chen says, monitoring her phone, questioning her whereabouts. Classic abuse patterns masked as protection. My lawyer finally stirs. Objection. Inflammatory and unsubstantiated. Sustained. Ms. Chen, stick to facts. Rachel's attorney smiles. It's not a nice smile. Of course, Your Honor. The facts are in the police report from February 7th. Mr. Hayes physically blocked my client from leaving their home. I close my eyes. That night floods back. Rachel packing a suitcase at midnight, refusing to explain. Miles crying in his room. Me standing in the doorway, not touching her, just standing there asking why. She called the cops. Said she felt threatened. I never touched her. I never would. Your Honor, Ms. Chen says, we're asking for sole custody with supervised visitation only. Mr. Hayes's hero complex has metastasized into something dangerous. The judge looks at me. Really looks. I wonder what she sees, the college athlete I was, or the desperate father I've become. We'll hear from Mr. Hayes's counsel after a 15-minute recess. The gavel falls again. Rachel stands, finally meeting my eyes fully. For one impossible second, I see the girl from the hospital room, the one who promised forever. Then her expression shudders and she's a stranger again. She mouths something as she turns away. It might be, I'm sorry, or it might be, goodbye. My lawyer corners me in a consultation room that smells like old coffee and defeat. Through the narrow window, I watch Rachel smoke outside, a habit she swore she'd quit after Miles was born. She's holding the cigarette wrong, like she's forgotten how. They're destroying you in there, Jenkins says. He's 50-something. Perpetually tired, probably handling 30 cases just like mine. I need something, anything. I saved her life. My voice sounds hollow. That's supposed to be nothing? It's everything, that's the problem. He loosens his tie. They're spinning it as the origin of abuse. The grand gesture that trapped her in obligation. I stop. Take a breath. I never asked her to stay. Didn't you? He's not cruel, just honest. Every time you limped. Every time you grimaced picking up Miles. Every time someone asked about your scars. You never had to say it, David. She knew. Outside, Rachel's joined by a man in an expensive suit. Not her lawyer. He touches her elbow, familiar, and something in my chest cracks cleanly. Who's that? Jenkins glances out. His expression tells me he knows exactly who that is. Her new partner, Thomas Reeves. Investment banker. He's been helping with her legal fees. How long? Does it matter? It does, God, it does. Because suddenly the timeline reshapes itself. Her distance over the past year, the late nights, the way she flinched when I touched her. Not fear, guilt. She was cheating. The words taste like ash. We can't prove that, and frankly it wouldn't help. This isn't about infidelity. It's about Miles's welfare. I watch Thomas lean close to Rachel, whisper something that makes her almost smile. That ghost of happiness guts me worse than any argument we ever had. The accident, I say slowly. Rachel was driving to meet someone that night. She never told me who. Jenkins straightens. You know this for certain? She deleted texts. I saw her do it at the hospital while I was half conscious. I laugh bitterly. I thought she was protecting me from stress. If there was an affair even then, no. I shake my head. I don't know, maybe. She was 20, Jenkins. We'd only been dating 6 months. She had every right to leave, but she didn't. No, she stayed, married me a year later, had Miles, played house while resenting every second. The door opens. Rachel's attorney enters without knocking, Thomas behind her. We'd like to propose a settlement, Miss Chen says. Full custody to my client. You get Miles 1 weekend a month supervised. In exchange, you sign an NDA about the circumstances of your marriage. Thomas is watching me with something like pity. Like I'm a wounded animal he's considering putting down. An NDA, I repeat. You don't speak to media. You don't write about Rachel. You don't disparage her publicly. In return, you maintain limited access to your son. Jenkins touches my arm. Don't answer now. But I'm looking at Rachel through the window. She's ground out her cigarette, arms wrapped around herself despite the warm October air. She looks smaller than I remember. Fragile. The version of her I pulled from burning metal. Why? I ask Miss Chen. Why does she need an NDA? Thomas answers instead. Rachel's writing a memoir about surviving a toxic marriage. It's already been bought by a major publisher. The floor tilts. A memoir. Your heroism created a cage, he continues, voice gentle like he's explaining something to a child. She's telling her truth. We want to ensure you don't complicate that. My truth, our truth, Miles's truth. None of it matters compared to Rachel's narrative. The advance was substantial, Ms. Chen adds. Enough to ensure Miles's future. College fund, trust, stability you can't provide. She's not wrong. I work construction now, whatever my rebuilt legs can handle. My medical bills from the accident are still drowning me in interest. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment that smells like the guy downstairs' weed. You're buying my son, I say quietly. We're protecting him, Thomas corrects, from a father who can't let go of the past. Jenkins is pulling me back, murmuring about recess, about reconvening, about options. But I'm stuck watching Rachel through that window. She's turned around now, looking straight at me. Her face is wet. She's crying, and I can't tell if it's grief or relief. The judge calls us back, but I can't move. I'm 21 again, smelling gasoline and burnt rubber, Rachel's dead weight in my arms. Mr. Hayes, the bailiff's voice sounds underwater. Jenkins grips my shoulder. David now. I stand on legs that remember being broken. The courtroom swims into focus. Rachel at her table, Thomas in the gallery now, his hand proprietarily on the back of her chair, even from a distance. My mother's rosary beads clicking anxiously. The judge looks at me over reading glasses. Mr. Hayes, you have the right to present your side. Jenkins stands. Your Honor, my client requests a brief recess. No. My voice surprises me. I'm ready. Rachel's eyes widen fractionally. First real emotion I've seen from her all day. Go ahead, Mr. Hayes. I bypass my lawyer, walk to the stand. The bailiff swears me in. My hand trembles on the Bible. Tell us about the night of the accident, the judge says. I lied. The words come out clear, final, in the hospital, in the police report, in every interview after. The courtroom stills. Jenkins has gone pale. Rachel wasn't wearing her seatbelt because she was trying to leave the car before the explosion. The belt wasn't jammed. I told the investigators it was. I said she was unconscious. She wasn't. Rachel's attorney is on her feet. Your Honor. She was conscious and screaming at me to leave her. I continue, telling me to save myself. I dragged her out anyway, and she fought me, kicked, clawed. She didn't want to be saved. Mr. Hayes, this is highly irregular. She was leaving him that night. I'm looking only at Rachel now. Whoever he was. The text she deleted, she was ending it. Driving to his apartment to break it off. She told me this in the hospital after surgery, when she thought I might die. Said she couldn't live with the guilt of me sacrificing myself for her when she'd been betraying me. Rachel's face has crumpled. She's shaking her head, but not in denial. In something worse. So I lied, I say. I told the police she was trapped. I made her a victim who needed rescue instead of a woman making a choice. I built the cage myself. The judge removes her glasses. Why are you telling us this now? Because she's right. I force myself to look away from Rachel to the judge. Ms. Chen, all of it. I am obsessive. I do fixate. I saved Rachel's life so she'd owe me forever. So she'd never leave. So I'd never have to accept that maybe I was never enough. Jenkins is making cutting motions. I ignore him, but Miles, my voice cracks. Miles didn't ask for any of this. He shouldn't pay for my mistakes. Mr. Hayes, this testimony could seriously damage your case. I know. But he deserves a father who tells the truth. Even when it destroys him, silence. Then Rachel stands abruptly, chair scraping. I need to speak, she says. Her attorney grabs her arm. Rachel, don't, I need to speak. It's nearly a shout. The judge nods slowly. Rachel walks to the witness stand. We pass each other. She smells like cigarettes and the vanilla perfume she wore when we met. Her hand brushes mine, accident or intention, I'll never know. She's sworn in. Takes the seat I've vacated. He's lying, she says. To protect me again. I start to object, but her eyes pin me silent. There was no affair. There were no deleted texts. David invented that story just now because he knows perjuring himself is the only way to make me look sympathetic. Mrs. Hayes. I was leaving him that night, she continues, but not for someone else. For myself. Because at 20 I'd realized I didn't love him. I barely knew him. We'd been dating 6 months and he was already talking about forever and I was suffocating. She's crying openly now. Then the accident happened and he was broken and everyone kept calling him a hero. How do you leave your hero? How do you tell him that his sacrifice was wasted on someone who didn't want to be saved? So I stayed. I married him. I had Miles and I tried. God, I tried to love him the way he deserved. But you can't force love through obligation. Thomas has stood looking stricken. She ignores him. The abuse allegations, they're real. Not physical, but emotional. Being trapped in someone's unwanted devotion is its own prison. Having your life saved becomes the thing that kills you slowly. She looks at me finally. But Miles loves his father. And David would die for our son without hesitation. That's not abuse, that's just who he is. Obsessive, yes. Suffocating sometimes. But dangerous? Never. Mrs. Hayes, the judge says gently. Are you recanting your custody petition? Rachel closes her eyes. I'm asking for joint custody. True joint. Week on, week off. I'm asking for us to parent our son without destroying each other further. Rachel, her attorney sounds panicked. I'm dropping the book deal, Rachel adds. And I'm asking David to forgive me for trying to make myself the victim of his love. The courtroom erupts. Both lawyers shouting. The judge gaveling. Thomas pushing toward the stand. But I'm frozen watching Rachel break apart in public. Offering herself as sacrifice the way I once offered. Myself. Proving that we're exactly the same, and that's the real tragedy. I find Rachel vomiting. Behind her car, the hearing's been postponed. Judge's orders. Pending psychiatric evaluations for us both. Her lawyer quit on the spot. Thomas left without a word. His investment apparently unprofitable now. Go away. Rachel chokes out between heaves. I kneel beside her, holding back her hair like I did during morning sickness with Miles. She doesn't pull away. Why did you do that? I ask. I could ask you the same thing. She spits, wipes her mouth with the back of her hand. Making up affairs? Perjuring yourself. I wasn't lying about the text. She goes still. What? You deleted messages. At the hospital. I saw you. David. She turns to face me. We're both kneeling on asphalt that's absorbed the day's heat. I was deleting texts from my mother. She kept asking if I was going to leave you. If I was finally going to admit I'd made a mistake. The parking lot tilts. I told her I was ending things. Rachel continues quietly. That I couldn't do it anymore, the pretending, the guilt. I was driving to her house that night. To stay with her while I figured out how to leave you. Not an affair. Not an affair. She laughs wetly. Just cowardice. I was 20 and terrified and couldn't imagine hurting the man who'd been planning our future since date 3. Cars pass on the street beyond. Normal people living normal lives, unaware that 2 people are dismantling their shared history in a courthouse parking lot. Thomas? I ask. Started 6 months ago. After I filed. He was never the reason I left, just the excuse I needed to finally do it. Do you love him? She considers this. I don't know. Maybe. Or maybe I just love that he doesn't make me feel indebted for existing. That lands like a blade between ribs. The memoir, I say, was his idea. He thought, she stops. No, that's not fair. I wanted it too. Wanted to rewrite the narrative where I wasn't the ungrateful bitch who left her hero, but standing up there listening to you destroy yourself to save me again. Her voice breaks. I'm so tired of being saved, David. I never meant, I know. That's what makes it worse. She pulls her knees to her chest. You never meant to trap me. You never meant to make me feel like my life wasn't my own. You just loved me. Completely. Devastatingly. And you never loved me back. No. The word hangs between us. I tried. I really did try. When did you stop? She's quiet for so long I think she won't answer. Then, I don't think I ever started. Not the way you needed. I loved the idea of you, the dedication, the intensity. But the reality was drowning. I stand because if I don't move, I'll break. Miles? I love him more than breathing. That's not in question. Joint custody, if you'll accept it. After what I tried to do, you were trying to escape. I lean against her car. I built the cage. You just wanted out. Rachel stands too. We're a foot apart. This close, I can see the new lines around her eyes, the gray threading her temples. She's 27 but looks older. Worn. The truth is, she says, we destroyed each other. You with your obsession, me with my resentment. And somehow we made a beautiful child in the wreckage. Can we do this? Share him without tearing him apart? I don't know. But we have to try. She touches my arm. First voluntary contact in months. I'm sorry I needed you to be the villain. It was easier than admitting I was just as broken. I'm sorry I never asked what you wanted. I just assumed saving you meant keeping you. Yeah, well. She drops her hand. We're a matching set of disasters. My phone buzzes. Jenkins. Hearing rescheduled for next month. Joint evaluation ordered. Don't contact Rachel. Lawyer says I can't talk to you, I say. Mine quit, so technically I can do whatever I want. We both laugh. Sharp, surprised sounds. When do we tell Miles? I ask, together. This weekend. I'll bring him to the park, the one with the dinosaur sculptures. He'll have questions. He's 4. He'll ask why we can't all live together and then get distracted by a bug. Probably. Rachel unlocks her car, pauses with the door open. The accident. What you said about me fighting you, was any of that true? I remember. Her fists against my chest. Her screaming. The heat at our backs, you were in shock. You didn't know what you were saying? That's not an answer? No, I admit. It's not. She gets in the car, starts the engine, rolls down the window. For what it's worth, she says, I'm glad you didn't leave me. Even if I wish you had. She drives away before I can parse that contradiction. I stand in the emptying parking lot, broken legs aching from a decade-old sacrifice, and wonder if love always requires someone to burn. Miles crashes into my legs like a meteor, all elbows and dinosaur facts. Dad, did you know T-Rex couldn't run because their legs were too heavy? But they could walk really, really fast, which is basically running, but different. I catch him, swing him up. He smells like syrup and grass stains. That's so? Mom said so. She knows everything about dinosaurs now. Rachel approaches more carefully. Thomas isn't with her. She looks smaller in jeans and a sweater, hair pulled back, no makeup. More like the girl I met than the woman who almost destroyed me in court. Hey, she says. Hey. Miles wriggles free. races toward the Triceratops sculpture. We follow at the pace of normal parents having a normal weekend exchange, except nothing about us is normal. Thomas? I ask. Gone. Turns out he was more interested in the memoir than me. She shrugs. Or maybe I was just using him as an anchor while I figured my shit out. I'm sorry. Don't be. I'm not. She sits on a bench. I join her, careful to maintain distance. Evaluations next week. My new therapist thinks I have trauma bonding issues. Mine thinks I have savior complex rooted in childhood abandonment. So we're both disasters. At least we're consistent. Miles has found another kid. They're making dinosaur sounds at each other. That instant friendship only children can manage. I've been thinking, Rachel says, about what you said. In court about the seatbelt. Rachel, was I fighting you? Really? I watch Miles instead of answering. He's showing the other kid how to make a proper T-Rex roar. At first, I finally say, for maybe 10 seconds. Then you went limp. Shock, I think. Or acceptance of dying, of being saved against your will. She absorbs this. I don't remember. Just the heat, your face. The way you wouldn't let go even when I think I was hitting you. You were. I'm sorry. Don't be. You are right to fight. I didn't ask permission. I just assumed my love was enough reason to override your choice. Miles runs over, demanding we watch him climb. We both stand, move closer to the equipment, settling into the choreography of co-parenting. Rachel spots while I encourage. We don't touch, but we orbit the same purpose. The memoir, she says quietly while Miles hangs upside down. I was going to call it Saved. About how the worst thing that ever happened to me was someone loving me too much. Past tense? I'm not writing it. But I should have. Maybe not for publication, but for myself. To understand why I stayed so long in something that hurt us both. Why did you? She considers this while Miles demands she time his monkey bar crossing. Guilt, partly. But also, she hesitates. Hope. That maybe if I tried hard enough, I could become the person you thought I was. The grateful survivor. The devoted wife. The woman who deserves such dramatic love. You never needed to earn it, that's the problem. Your love was unconditional. Mine was conditional on me becoming someone else entirely. She times Miles. 17 seconds, a new record. I resented you for loving me when I couldn't love myself. Do you love yourself now? Getting there. Therapy helps. Being alone helps. Not feeling like someone's watching me for signs of gratitude, that really helps. Miles climbs down, announces he's hungry. We walk toward the food trucks parked near the playground entrance. Rachel buys tacos. I get lemonade. Miles wants both, and we negotiate sharing. The three of us finding a rhythm that almost feels natural. I'm dating someone, I say as Miles demolishes a taco. Rachel's eyebrows lift. Yeah? Physical therapist. Met at my follow-up appointment last month. She's patient, calm, doesn't need me to save her. Good. You deserve that. I told her everything. The accident. The custody battle, you? What did she say? That I spent 10 years in love with my own martyrdom. I sip lemonade. She wasn't wrong. She sounds smart. She is. Miles asks if he can go play more. We say yes, watching him race back toward the dinosaurs. Joint custody's been approved, Rachel says. Evaluation came back recommending alternating weeks. No supervision needed. I heard. So this is us now. Co-parents, coordinating schedules, splitting holidays. Yeah. She's quiet for a long moment. I don't hate you, David. I want you to know that. I know. I just couldn't breathe inside your love. It was too much. Too consuming. I know that too now, do you? I think about my therapist's question. If Rachel had died, would you have mourned her or mourned the life you'd planned? I loved the idea of us, I admit. The story, the heroic rescue, the grateful wife, the family we'd build. I loved that more than I ever tried to know the real you. That's the most honest thing you've ever said to me. Therapy's expensive. Should get something out of it. She almost smiles. Do you love her? The physical therapist? Too soon to tell. But I'm learning to ask what she wants instead of assuming I know. Good. That's really good. Miles returns, covered in wood chips, announcing he found a beetle. We admire it together. The scarab green of its shell, the delicate legs. Then he releases it and we watch it disappear into grass. We should go, Rachel says. He's got soccer tomorrow morning. Right. Yeah. We walk to the parking lot. Miles holds both our hands, swinging between us. For a few steps, we're what we never were. A family. At Rachel's car, Miles hugs me hard. Love you, Dad. Love you too, buddy. He climbs in. Rachel buckles him while I stand at a respectful distance. No longer my job, no longer my right. Same time next week? She asks, straightening. Yeah, I'll text about the transfer. Okay. We stand in the golden hour light. Two people who destroyed each other trying to build something better from the rubble. For what it's worth, I say. I'm glad I pulled you out, even knowing everything. I'd do it again, I know. That's why I had to leave. She gets in the car, starts it. But before pulling away, she rolls down the window one more time. Thank you, she says, for finally letting me go. I watch them drive away. My son and the woman I never really loved just needed to save. My phone buzzes. The physical therapist still on for dinner? I text back yes. Then I walk to my car on legs that ache with old sacrifice, and I think that maybe, finally, I can learn to save myself. The beetle I saw Miles release is crossing the parking lot. I step over it carefully. Some things deserve to choose their own direction, even if it takes you 10 years to learn that.